Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. Out there, people are playing around with dark magic. There is a message that was sent to me by one of our brothers who has come here with his own confession. So this is the narration of that message that he sent to me. The narration reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My brother, I have come here on your platform because I have a confession that I want to give to you. There was a time, this was after I had came here to South Africa. I started working for this other white man, but the problem was that this man, the way that he was paying us, it was really not nice, because as for the South African guys, they were getting paid a lot of money, but as for us, he was just giving us peanuts, and we did not have any benefits at all. So this was the first trouble that we were facing. Then there was this other man who came from Zim. He was a white garment prophet. So this man then said that the reason as to why the boss is not able to give us a lot of money, it is because we are not united. We need to be united. We need to pray together. If we pray together, then the boss is going to give us a lot of money. Then this white garment prophet that we were now working with, he said, I want you guys to raise up some money so that we can go and buy a knife. We then gave him the money. He went to town and he bought this other hunting knife, and he said that we were supposed to go into the mountain and we were supposed to sleep in the mountain whilst we were praying up there in the mountain. So this prophet, he had a lot of followers. It didn't matter if the follower was from Zim or from South Africa, because he was performing a lot of miracles. He had powers to, if he gave you some of his holy prayers, if you were looking for a job, you were going to find a job. So around the location, people had heard about him. So there was always a queue at the place where we were staying, because we were staying at that white man's house. So then he told his followers that on this other particular Friday, we were going in up the mountains so that we can pray. When the Friday came, we all went into that mountain as a group and we started praying. And indeed on that night I saw the Holy Spirit at work. When it was about just before sunrise, then this white garment prophet, he called me and the other boys that I was working with. We then went to this other place that was just a little bit far from the place where some of his followers were busy sleeping. We then looked for a small rock. When we looked for that rock, that white garment prophet then took that hunting knife and he stabbed that rock. Brother Nashi, there are men that are powerful out there. The rock swallowed that knife. Then we saw smoke coming out of that rock. Then we returned back to work. When we returned back to work, then our boss then said that the following Monday he wanted to see us, because he wanted to have some discussions about our salary. He wanted to increase our salary, and we said thank God. On that Monday, just before the meeting, amongst the people that we were working with, there was one who felt really jealous. Then that person called the Department of Labor, and when they came, everyone just ran away because we didn't have proper documentation. And we were arrested and we were then deported. So when I came back, life was really difficult. I could not return back to my boss. I was just struggling. When I was struggling, I said, what am I going to do? I then approached this other South African traditional healer, and I told that old man that at least he was supposed to give me some charms so that my life can become a little bit better. That man was more than willing to give me some charms, and indeed he gave me some charms. But when he gave me these charms, he didn't tell me that in the end I was not supposed to have a child. Traditional healer then gave me a flower. He said that this flower does not require blood or any sacrifices at all. All that you have to do is that buy some fresh milk before you would have gone to bed, but do not go into your room with this fresh milk. Leave it outside in a secluded place, and early in the morning, before you would have gone to urinate, wake up before everyone would have woken up. When it will still be dark, go outside and stand in the middle of the yard. Take out your manhood and insert your manhood in that bottle. then said that you go outside and you stand in the middle of the yard. Then you take that bottle that you would have left outside, you take your manhood out and you insert it into that bottle. Then you start to urinate until the bottle will be full. Then you mix the fresh milk with your urine. He then said, then you return back indoors. Then you start to feed this flour that I have given you. You feed it with this fresh milk that is mixed with your urine. So Brother Nash, I did this flour. What I will do is that when I would wake up, I'll see that the flour, it would have dropped some leaves. Then these leaves will turn out to be money. This is what I was doing. So I started dating a lot of women, especially South African women. And then there was this other lady that I was dating. She was a married woman, but she was on separation and she didn't want her husband anymore because I was giving her a lot of money. So she would come for a sleepover at my place, and she was such a jealousy woman. You know, when a woman is dating you and when she knows that you are giving her a lot of money, she is always feeling jealousy. So on that night, when she came to my place for a sleepover, I thought that maybe she was sleeping. I wanted to go outside so that I can perform my rituals. I woke up and I looked at her and she pretended as if she was fast asleep, and then she waited for me to go outside. When I had gone outside, that was when she came out and she said, "Hey, what are you doing there? What are you doing?" I then thought of hiding that bottle that contained the fresh milk, and I just threw it to the side because I didn't want her to see me doing these weird rituals. So she came to the place where I was and she said, "Oh, so you are waiting for another woman. This is what you are doing. You are cheating on me." And I said, "No, I am not cheating on you, my love. I just wanted some fresh air and I wanted to relieve myself." So since I didn't want her to see this bottle that was full of fresh milk, I then said, "Let us go back indoors." And I started touching her, and when we went back indoors, I then made love to her because she wanted to go and prepare for her child who was going to school, and at the same time she didn't want her partner to know that she was dating me. So we went back indoors and we started making love. I ended up making love to her for about an hour, and I totally forgot about those rituals. By the time that we were finished, the sun was already going. By the time that we had finished, people were already going around, but not a lot of people. I quickly returned back home after I had taken her halfway, and when I came back into the yard, that was when I saw the landlord. The landlord was holding that bottle that had the fresh milk. He then asked me if I had any idea who was the owner of this bottle that contained the fresh milk. I said, "It is mine, it is mine." He then asked me what it was doing outside, and I then lied to him and I said, "You know, my girlfriend, she loves to fight with me a lot. So yesterday when we were fighting, then mistakenly I then threw this bottle of fresh milk, but as I was giving him this funny excuse, I could tell that he was not believing in anything that I was telling him. I then begged him never to ask my girlfriend about this issue. I then returned back to my room. When I returned back to my room, I then found out that the flower had dropped all of its leaves and it was becoming dry. And when it had became totally dry, after I had tried to open that bottle that was full of milk, then mysteriously the fresh milk just disappeared. I then saw that there was now blood that was coming out of this flower. Blood was everywhere. I then called that traditional healer. He then told me to bring back that flower that he had given me. I then returned back to his house. I consulted with him. That was when he told me that I was supposed to perform more rituals, and after we had performed more rituals, this flower, it was okay, it was green again. I returned back to the location. There was this other South African woman. I had set my eyes on her for a very long time, just that she was a married woman. So when I heard that she was facing a lot of challenges in her marriage, I then approached her and I spoke with her and I gave her a lot of money and we started dating. She is the woman that I am staying with. So Brother Nashi, when I started staying with her, then she had miscarriages. She had 6 miscarriages. At that time, I didn't know that this flower was the one that was causing all of these miscarriages. All that I cared about and all that she cared about also was the money that I was making, the money that was just appearing from nowhere, even though I would not show her that the flower was the thing that was giving us all of this money. She is happy with the life that I am giving her. This year, this girlfriend of mine, she fell pregnant, but there is something that I did and I felt so terrible about this thing that I did. That traditional healer then told me that it is going to be my life or it is going to be the life of this child that my girlfriend gave birth to. This traditional healer told me that I was never supposed to have a child in my life since I had sacrificed my own self. So what happened, Brother Nashi, is that the traditional healer told me to go and buy a knife. So I did. And last night, I did such a terrible thing. I told my girlfriend that I just needed a moment with our child. And I lied to her that I wanted to communicate with my ancestors. She said, you want to introduce our child to your Amatlozi? And I said, yes. So I went and I locked myself in the bathroom and I knelt down close to the toilet seat, just like the traditional healer had instructed me to do. He had told me that when I would be kneeling close to that toilet seat, I had to put my child's head close to that toilet seat, and took out that knife that he made me to buy. I wanted to place the knife on my little baby's neck, just like he told me. He said when I would have done this, then the flower will start to eat up my own baby. When I was kneeling with that knife in hand, Brother Nashi, before I had done this sacrifice, that was when my baby opened its eyes, and then the baby looked at me and I felt so nervous about it. I looked at my son only once and I started to regret and I started to cry. And I then dropped the knife because I was feeling really nervous of the thing that I was about to do. When I dropped the knife, when I checked to see where the knife was at, I could not find it. I searched for the knife everywhere. I even inserted my hand into the toilet because I was trying to find this knife. I thought that maybe I had made a mistake and I had dropped it into the toilet, but I could not find it. I am regretting this thing that I did. So I don't know what exactly is going to happen to me, and I don't know what exactly is going to happen to my own son, but I cannot sacrifice my own son, Brother Nashi. I cannot do that. When I looked at his innocent face, I felt so terrible about these rituals.